Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Reviewing Comics with me, your host, Alexander Turbin. Today we're going to be going over Kabuki, Circle of Blood, number 1 from Calibure Comics. But before we get into that, I have a few announcements. Check out this week's poll. It is Sam Keith and Greg Capullo, and these are two fantastic artists. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys think of both of these guys and who's your favorite. And so go check out that poll that's going on now. It's going on until Wednesday when we will decide a winner between these two fantastic artists. This video and all my videos are presented by Random Access. It's a full-size, full-color comic book that you can get at patreon.com/Alexander Turin. Or you can get these at, you can get them at Patreon, and it's $3 a month, and you get that comic book. But you can also go to my website, alexanderturbin.com, and they're all there as well, and they're pretty cheap. They're only $1.25 for Random Access. But there's also compilations of Cyrene and Queller and all of the other stuff that I've done, and there's Mutandis, and all of my different comic book work that I've done over the years is on my website, alexanderturbin.com. Or you can just, like I said, go to the Patreon and check stuff out there. Or you can message me at alexturbin0441 at yahoo.com or alexturbin0441 at Instagram. So it is very rare that I look at a comic book and I'm going to review a comic book and I'm like, I haven't, if either I've read them when I was younger and, high school, college years or whatever. And then I reread them before I do the review. And then there's sometimes when, I haven't read it and it's a brand new concept to me, brand new story, brand new everything. And, I have a fresh perspective. And then sometimes, excuse me, I've read the issue before when I was younger, and for some reason it didn't stick with me. And then I reread it later before the review, and I am totally fascinated by it, and I love it, and I think it's a fantastic read. That is what is going on with Kabuki Circle of Blood. I think what happened was that I think I read She, because these came out at similar times. This came out in 1995. The first Kabuki came out in 1992. So I think this is like the second or third storyline. And I think what I did was I read She, and I was disillusioned by this whole Japanese female killer assassin woman kind of thing. And because I think I read She first, and even though, yes, I like the art, it's pretty good, the story is kind of bland, and I really didn't enjoy the story all that much, and I never really got that many more issues after that. I think I got 1 or 2 or 3 or something like that, but I never got a full run of She. And then I got Kabuki, and I think I got some of the original run or something like that, and I think I just could not get into it because maybe it just didn't explain enough of the backstory or something like that. And then I get this, I read it, I don't think I know what I have, what I'm reading at the time, or even if I did, maybe I didn't even actually read it. Maybe I just kind of perused through it and saw that it was a little bit like She. And so it's, some things can, like you can watch Armageddon and then you can watch Deep Impact. They're both so similar movies. I personally love Deep Impact a lot more than Armageddon, which is very unusual for a lot of people. But you have that I don't know what you call it. You're comparing them, and you choose one over the other, or the whole kind of genre gets muddied and stuff, and you're not really into it as much as you could be. I just read Kabuki, and I love it. I'm going to go and get as many issues as I can find, because I think it's really a fantastic book. Written and drawn by David Mack. David Mack went on to do Daredevil, and he created Echo, and I don't know if he did how much of that Daredevil run he did, but I'm quite certain it was quite a bit of it. And so he's a really good writer, and he went on to Marvel and stuff and did some really great stuff. And he's a fantastic artist as well. I'm not sure what he did art wise, I'm going to definitely go back and look at his stuff. He's not super stylistic, so it's not somebody that you're going to be like, oh, I really need to go get this artist. Well, I mean, it could be. Everybody's different. You could love David Mack's art and just think it's the greatest. And it is very good. His art is very good. For me, myself, when I find somebody that I like, they have to be super stylized because I like that kind of art. I like a stylized type of art. I like, even if it's a new artist, if I see a glimmer of the stylization coming, then it's gonna grab me and I'm gonna be drawn to it. And I'm gonna want to collect more and more of it. But he is very, not very stylized, very competent, very good artist. Use all kinds of techniques that are really, really good and everything. I'm going to get into the book. I'm not going to really talk about the art or the writing, other than when I'm reading it, when I'm going through it. What I will say is that what I think happened was, I think Brian Pulido, is that his name? I think that is, of She. I'm not entirely sure. Let me know if I got it wrong. But I think that's who it is. Did she, I don't know if it was after this or before this. I'll have to go look. But I think he was influenced by the Image guys. I think he was influenced mainly by Jim Lee and Silvestri and all that kind of stuff. So his art and his stories go that kind of vein. Kabuki, and David Mack, he is influenced by Frank Miller. He is influenced by Sin City. Sin City came out in '92, which is pretty much when the first Kabuki came out. I don't know if the first Kabuki series reads like this. I'm going to have to check that out. But this is definitely influenced by Sin City, and you can see it in his writing. You can see it in his art. Yes, it doesn't really attain that level of creativity that Miller has, but it certainly gives it a good shot, and I certainly really enjoyed this book. I'm telling you right now, it's going to get a really good score as far as I'm concerned. It is Caliber Comics, so it's a semi-professional book, and so it's not like it's not even close to a power comic. And there's all kinds of people with their fingers in the pot, and they're making it better, tweaking it, editing it, and stuff like that. Whenever you've got an editor, your comic is automatically going to be better because they can say to you, this isn't right, this isn't right. Whatever it is. So the beginning of the comic, I really did not like. It like, I don't know if they were done at different times or if they were done or what, but like the first 6 pages, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, the first 12, 14 pages, I'm not really into. I don't really love it that much. We'll go into it. It harkens back to Black Rain and Sin City, and it's very Japanese. He's done his research. He's really done his research, and he's steeped in the lore. There's a whole lot of Japanese colloquialisms and all kinds of stuff going on here. Super Japanese. I feel like it's a little bit more Japanese than She. She, I feel like, is a mishmash of Americanization, Japanese stuff that is what he thinks it is, or feels like it is, and I'm not entirely sure that I like that as much. This I really like. It's from in Japan, and he's just talking about different stuff. The first few pages are just, I think it's a recap of what happened in the first series. So I think the first few pages, first 10 pages maybe, are a recap of what happened in the first series. But it does it in such a veiled way that it's kind of hard to understand, and it kind of jumps a little bit around. It talks about somebody being killed, and they were like some sort of mob boss or something, and the person that killed him was his wife, I believe. If anybody knows anything more about Kabuki, please let me know. Please correct me on the stuff. So you have the mob boss wife, and I believe this is her stretching and doing all kinds of stuff. And she is I think she's taking over the helm as the mob boss of the Yakuza boss or whatever. Kabuki, I think, is some sort of she's a television host, but she's also a an assassin or not a superhero, a vigilante of some sort. And I think she killed the mob boss on her say so. I'm not entirely sure. It's a little bit vague, or it's vague as far as I can find. But I think what drew me away from this originally was, and I think I read maybe the first 10 pages back in the day and then stopped. And I really kind of wish I had not. I wish I had read the rest of it and really had gotten the rest of the Kabuki series, because after these few pages that I really am not into, it gets a lot better. But she's dancing around, she's playing with her sword, she's acting all sexy, and I think this is part of what drew me away from wanting to read the rest of this series. So she's got her gun. This is the mob boss's wife or whatever, and she's happy that she's dead. Here, this looks a lot like Alan Davis art. So much. I don't know if he's a big influence on David Mack or not. I can't see how he couldn't be. This is straight out of Alan Davis's wheelhouse. So Kabuki busts into the place where the mob boss's wife is kind of dancing around with the sword. She's the new leader of the boss, but Kabuki's like, no, you're gonna I don't know whether she kills her. She just kind of knocks her off her feet or whatever. And then it cuts to another scene where apparently there's more than one Kabuki. There's several, and there's some sort of government agency, and this head of the Kabuki government agency, much like the Black Widows are in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I don't think the Marvel Cinematic Universe is the same with the Black Widow with the in the regular Marvel Universe. I don't think she's part of that group. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not a huge fan of Black Widow, and I'm not really steeped in the lore of what she has going on. But there's these different Kabuki girls, and they all have their own names and their own specialities, and like Snapdragon, Butch, Joe. I don't know if this is kind of a take on Kill Bill. I can't remember when Kill Bill came out, but I think it was later than this actually, where they all have their own special abilities, whatever, and they're assassins, which I love Kill Bill. Anybody out there love Kill Bill as much as I do? But it's just kind of an introduction to these characters, I think. And you don't really know where it's going or what's going on or who this character is. He's the head of this Kabuki troop that are assassins, and they do political assassinations as well as criminal assassinations and stuff like that. And then it got to this page, and I was like, that is a whole lot of text. Is there going to be enough of a payoff? I think this is where I stopped reading when I was younger, when this came out in 95. 95, I was that's when I was getting done doing Mutandis, because I did that in 92, 93, 93, I think, 94. I was getting done with doing Mutandis, and I was just probably not into this. But I got it, and I think I stopped reading this, because if I had read this from this point on and really, got delved into it, then I think I would have gotten more of these books. And I don't think I have any more of these Kabuki Circle of Bloods. It's a wall of text. At first, I was very confused. It talks about this guy who's the general, and he's just, you think that the general is this guy, and later on you'll figure out that it's not. But it just kind of goes through this thing, and he ends up talking about Kabuki. She's at her mother's grave, and this is when it really, it's like flips a switch, and it completely goes into something else. It's kind of like the OA, the AO, OA, Original Angel, on Netflix, where you're watching the first episode, and all of this stuff happens, and then she starts telling the story, and the music comes on, and you realize that all of that stuff was just a kind of a setup for what is to come, the story that's to come. All of this stuff here it's either a backdrop or a setup for the story that's to come. She's going to explain who she is, Kabuki, as her character, as her motivations, as her decisions and all of that. I'm pretty sure if this is the original Kabuki who was in the original series, then this is her backstory, and this is really the thing. This is the thing. This is the beautiful thing. It starts off really kind of slow, talking about the general, how the general had a son. How he was in the war, the general is in the war, and how the son kind of grew up angsty. He had a sword, and he would test it on the bodies of dead GIs. So you already realize that he's getting to be a little bit darker. The general, he's very militaristic with him, very harsh with him, and stuff like that. As the kid grows older, I think, yeah. Is this the general? I can't remember if this is general. Um, just as the general is a master of military strategy, the boy becomes a practitioner of his own grisly form of psychological warfare. So this is the son, grows up as during World War II, and or the end of World War II, or whatever, during World War II, where he actually can use the bodies of GIs and desecrate them and do all kinds of weird things. He rips their fingers off and makes them into a necklace. So he becomes this grisly figure. Whereas this, the general, his father, he's also grisly, but has a militaristic mind, and it's kind of focused where the other guy is not. So the general is older. He's rich. He's wealthy. Some of the things in this are fantastic. I love this scene here with the knife or sword or whatever. It's blood, but her face is part of the blood. He could have done that a little bit more intricately, so the blood in the face looked a little bit more like alike. But I just love the whole concept of the blood being in the face being in the blood. The way the story goes is in narrative form. It's not there's no dialogue or anything like that. It's all exposition and narration and stuff like that. The father, the wife is dead, apparently from something, I don't know what, but she's dead. He goes to the Kabuki a lot. I guess there's a lot of history about how the Kabuki changed from this art form to this kind of like sexy girls kind of thing, where it's not as relevant or artistic or whatever. But the general falls in love with one of the Kabuki girls, and the son really hates it. It goes into great detail about how she went on stage and she was draped in the Japanese flag and warfare flag rather, and it really pissed the son off. But the general loved it, and he just started to grow to love the Kabuki girl. My guess is this is supposed to be, the garment here is supposed to be a little bit like Frank Miller's Sin City, where he would use the positive and negative space of the black ink and the white neutral space or whatever, to just kind of contour and contrast the figure and stuff. I think that's what he's going for here. Doesn't really hit it, but it's still it's beautiful work. I do like the darkness of the theater. They're in the theater. They're looking at the Kabuki girl. She's on stage. There's a bright light. I really enjoy that. I really think that's fantastic. He goes into her dressing room or whatever, grabs the flag off of her and is going to like kill her or whatever. The father comes in and he can't do it. So he chastises the boy, and he kind of sends him to like some sort of military school, or the rift between them grows and grows and grows. The son starts to hate the father, and he wants to kill him. And Kabuki is remembering all of this. I don't know. She doesn't remember it, but she has some sort of psychic link with her mother or whatever, because this is to her mother, obviously. And so they're fighting. There's a hatred between this father and son, and this is where the artistry of the book comes through. And you've got this face of the Kabuki girl, and she's crying, and it's just like a montage. It's a narrated montage, which is really fantastic. I really love it. And there's a whole lot of negative space, like I said before. And it goes. The writing is just beautiful. Not quite Frank Miller level beautiful, not quite Alan Moore level beautiful, but still very beautiful, very intriguing, very relevant, very enjoyable to read. All of this, there's a lot of narration. It's like walls of text, but if it's enjoyable to read, then you discount it. More narration. The boy grows up, and he learns that his father is actually going to marry the Kabuki girl. He is infuriated, and he's not going to have it. He goes to where they're going to get married, and it goes into detail about how it's a dishonorable for him for the general to marry the Kabuki girl, but he's going to do it anyway because he has that much street cred that even though his people don't like it and it's dishonorable and all of that stuff, they're still going to allow it because he's just the man, and to go against his will would be very, very hard. Again, more Alan Davis looking stuff. This is with the cross hatching and the nice positive negative space, as I've said before, and the panel usage. The panel usage is one of the really fantastic things too, because here you've got no panels. Here you've got multi levels of panels. Here it changes to overlapping stuff and more overlapping panels, and then more intricate panels. So it's all about the storyline and how the story goes into how the artwork translates into the story, and using the different techniques to create really go into the story. So the son goes to the Kabuki girl. He's infuriated. He looks at her with his knife, and she knows that he's going to kill her. This is one of the things that it was like a man and wife kind of thing, that the husband and bride put on the cake or whatever, kind of thing. I think it's a little bit different in Japan, but it's a little token that he made for her, and the son is very angry about it because he did the same thing for his mother, and he just thinks that this Kabuki girl is a cheap knockoff of his mother. He does realize that she looks a lot like her, and so he kind of understands it. His father for wanting her, but then he just kind of goes crazy and starts smacking her around, and then he decides he's going to rape her. He rapes her to have her before his father can, and kind of just to hurt him as much as possible. And I know there's a lot of debate and stuff about whether or not rapes should be in storytelling, like that Game of Thrones episode where Sansa is raped, and it like so many people were offended and stuff. It's a horrible act. It's not like it's a nice fun act. It's a horrible act. People weren't up in arms against the Red Wedding when that was actually murders, vile killings and slayings. So to be outraged against one vile act and not be outraged against another vile act is just, I can understand it because it's a little bit more personal for some people, but it's a horrible vile act, and as long as it's done, it's not going to be done tastefully. It is what it is, and it's showing a vile act and a horrible act, and so it furthers the story. It's not in there just for no reason. So she grabs the half piece, and slashes his face open, and that's when he grabs his knife and kills her. And actually, he doesn't kill her. He almost kills her, but he carves a whole bunch of stuff in her, and to let the father know that he was there and it was him and all this stuff. The general finds her. Her eyes were cut out because they remind him too much of his mother, and that he knows that's why the general loves her, because he's so attracted to the eyes that were like his mother's eyes. So he takes them out, and he carves a bunch of stuff on her back and just does a whole bunch of horrible stuff to her. And then there's a whole bunch of narration as to Kabuki saying she was in her mother's belly, and that was what came of her. So her father is actually the one that raped her mother, kind of like Watchmen and the Comedian and stuff like that. So she grows older, she gets bigger, and she becomes who she's going to become. Um, she's saved by the doctors. The general spares no expense to save her, and even though the general knows that she's not his because they had never consummated their marriage or anything, he knows that it's his son's daughter. He takes her in as his ward and sends her to the best military schools, the best military minds, and kind of just molds her into this military person. The guy, the son, comes to back, sees that the girl, realizes that it's his kid, and yet he's going to kill her. But before he can kill her, the rope that had the piece that was cut in half, which her mother had, snaps. So I guess he just leaves her, because I don't know whether he leaves her because he realizes that she's his daughter, or because he's going to be found out, or whatever. But he leaves, and there's this whole scene is taking place while the grandfather, the general, or the father, the general, is playing the piano. So it's really, when something like this happens, and I'm really going to stress this a lot, and because this is one of the fantastic things about comic books. What I try to do, what a lot of people try to do, and very few people do it successfully. When you introduce something into your comic book, like he's playing the piano while all this vile, horrible stuff is going on, you hear it in your mind as you're reading the comic book. That's why one of the things that Frank Miller is so great at, he implants something in the back of your mind to be going on while the comic book is going on and the story is going further. So it's kind of like music in the back of your mind, in your head, that is playing while you're reading this multi-leveled comic book story. So it's a wonderful thing. It's really difficult to do. I don't think I've ever done it before, but I'm going to keep trying. And it really elevates this comic to a whole new level, and it's really fantastic. So he takes off, whatever, he leaves, and the general finds his adopted daughter. She's had stuff cut into her face. She's been mutilated just like her mother was. And I don't know if he raped her. I don't think he did. I don't think he had time. And then so he saves her, and that is when he transforms her into the assassin that becomes Kabuki, and he starts a whole new government agency that's like a hidden thing that assassinates bad guys, political figures, not political figures, and whatnot. So she becomes part of that. She's one of the best assassins ever, and basically that's her storyline. And it's a fantastic origin story. It's really great. And then it goes back to the general and what he was talking about, and it kind of slows down a little bit. But then you realize that the person behind this mask is the guy that killed Kabuki's mother and maimed her as well. So it's a little bit of a reveal, and it's very, really very intricate and very enjoyable to read. So I really liked it a whole lot. I'm giving this a 9. I could give it a 10 if the first part hadn't been so droll and I really didn't enjoy reading it. If it had just jumped into this whole this part towards the end, I probably would have given this a 10. But it's got that stuff in the beginning that I really didn't care for. Really loved the art. The art I really enjoyed. I really liked it. I can't say I loved it. I mean, it's obviously very accomplished. He's an accomplished artist, even here, and he does a lot of fantastic things, a lot of great things with panels. But it's just not as stylized as I would like. But maybe he goes on to be a little bit more stylized. I think he does. I think he does the covers for the Daredevil stuff, which is in those watercolors, which is really fantastic. But I really enjoyed it. But the storyline especially towards the end. It's really, that's what makes it what really drew me in and really makes me love this comic. It makes me I'm going to go get the rest of the series, the rest of the Circle of Blood series if I can. This is like $10. I can only assume this, since this is the first one, that the second, third, fourth one are a little bit cheaper, but I'm going to definitely go and get those and see if the maintains the quality of this book. I'm hoping. But so I'm going to give this a 9. Kabuki, Circle of Blood by David Mack. I'm giving it a 9. Let me know if you guys have read it. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on it. If you think I'm liking it too much, or if you agree with me and you think I'm spot on, or even any of my reviews. Let me know if you think any of my reviews are way off or whatever. I like to hear your guys' opinions, especially if you're a new viewer. If you haven't seen my channel before, if this is the first time you've seen it, I love to hear what you guys' thoughts are, and please consider subscribing, hitting the notification bell, and all that cool stuff. But like I said, even more than that, I love the conversation of us talking about comic books, because that's why I'm here, to talk about comic books. So thanks for watching, and Kabuki, Circle of Blood is getting a 9 from me. It's Monday, so we've got a full week of reviews and streams, and go vote on who you think is the best artist between Sam Keith and Greg Capullo, because I'd really like to know that too. But until then, until the next stream, I'll talk to you later. Have a great week, and as always, keep on creating.